Murray Bowen developed an idea called differentiation of self. And he said that the core to maturity, the goal of the family, was to help the individual to differentiate. And that means that the individual is able to be connected to other people while also being connected to themselves. He postulated that as humans, we have two different dimensions: a dimension of autonomy and individuality, and a dimension of togetherness or unity in relationship. And he says that when we are developing in family systems that are highly emotionally charged, we as vulnerable young children don't have the opportunity to protect ourselves. And so we take on that anxiety and then react from it. And we develop in two ways. We typically either polarize towards individuality. This is somebody who kind of has an identity as a rebel, whose whole identity is in being unique. Or we polarize towards togetherness. And this is the classic experience of being a people pleaser, of being so emotionally sensitive that the wants and the needs of other people really strongly affect us and throw us off of our balance. Murray Bowen said that the goal of the family system is to help the child to be able to say, I am both an individual and I am part of this family, without having to sacrifice one for the other. And so this really goes hand in hand with mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of non-reactivity, of learning to observe our internal experiences rather than just living out and being driven by them. And so in his family systems theory, he started to study families and recognized that in families with children who manifested symptoms, oftentimes the families had really rigid roles, right? So that might look like really rigid rules. Now these rules of the family, they're not written out, they're not spoken, but it might be something like, we don't express anger. It might be something like, you never question mom and dad. It might be something like, we don't talk about problems. A rule might be something like, you have to present a good image to the external world. And so while adults can kind of navigate around this, the young child is just vulnerable to being taken over by that emotion. And so family systems theory finds that in emotionally reactive families, certain members of the family take on roles that are kind of assigned to them by the imbalance. Because if you think about a car, if there's a flat tire on one part of the car, the whole other car is going to be affected. The axles are going to experience tension. The other tire is going to take more tension. And this is what it's like for a child. In a family, if there's tension between mom and dad, right, the child is going to bear the brunt of it. And this is what's called triangulation. Murray Bowen says that when there's an unstable relationship between two people, and the most common way this happens in families is between mom and dad, when there's an unstable tension between mom and dad, what happens is one member will often pull in a third, creating a triangle. So mom is having a hard time with dad, and she starts talking to the son, saying, oh, dad's doing this, dad's doing that. That creates a triangle, which creates an emotionality of the system at the expense of the child. Because then the child is taking on all the stress and the anxiety of mom and dad's role. The child then all of a sudden feels a responsibility to keep mom together, or to keep the peace, to keep the marriage together. And so then the child gets forced into this role of caretaker, mediator, therapist. This is a lot of therapists, a lot of us therapists have gotten pushed into this role. And so we've learned how to kind of navigate helping people out. And so this is the general idea of family systems theory. And Murray Bowen says that we have to look at the family system of what does each role do, and how can we kind of balance it more? How can we help people to be less emotionally reactive? And how can we help people to notice what other people are saying and thinking and feeling, but not be driven by them? So again, differentiation of self, this is the key. It's our ability to be connected to other people without reacting.